Hi guys! I've been in a little bit of a funk lately, so I decided today to do a page in my new coffee pocket page notebook. So this is a pocket page notebook that I took all of my coffee stamps and stamped the cover of it. So my theory was if you've got enough stamps to cover a notebook, then you've probably got enough photos to make a themed notebook. This notebook is pretty new. I've only got one page in here so far, so it was time for another one. I have got my photos that I've printed out and a sequin mix from the Sequinologist over on Instagram. And then I've grabbed out my Willow Lane 6x8 pad because I figured the colours in here are going to coordinate nicely with these sort of coffee photos. I created this grid of my photos in the Pick Frame app and then just printed that out on a 4x6 and trimmed it down so it's about 4 inches square, which is close enough to fit into my pocket here. There were plenty of papers in there that could have worked, but I've pulled out this gold stripe. It's so pretty and I think it works perfectly with not only the photos but also the sequin mix. So I think I wanted to put the title on the left hand side there, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. With the gold foiling, it doesn't stamp very well of what I found. Stamps don't work very well on there, so I'll have to come up with a plan B. Now for the back of my photo, I'm going to put the sequins in there, so I'm going to fuse up my pocket. So I needed to put my journaling in somewhere, and that's just going to go straight onto the back of my photo. I just typed that out in Photoshop. I made it sort of a darker brown color rather than black, just to coordinate with the colors of the page. And just so that they don't shift around in this fused pocket, I've just added a little bit of adhesive to glue these two sides together. Then I can trim them down so they perfectly fit. And then I've got my photos and my journaling on one sort of card that I can slip into the pocket. I'm going to put some sequins on the bottom here. In fact, I'll end up with sequins on top, but I hadn't really planned that at this point, so I just tipped a bunch in there and I'm going to fuse them into the bottom so that I can then create a separate little pocket for my photo. So I have actually been heating up my fuse tool. I let this fuse tool heat up for a good 10-15 minutes before I try and use it. These pocket page notebook pages are super easy to fuse. You do almost probably need to be more careful rather than not. I always had one that I practiced on, so I sort of have the knack of it, but I like to press quite hard and I roll pretty quick, and I always slip a little piece of cardboard or something scrappy underneath it so that it doesn't, I mean it's not going to fuse to the paper underneath it, but so that it doesn't damage it in any way. So you can see there my sequin pocket is fused and I've slipped my photo in, so you can see I've got the journaling on both sides, and now I've got this little gap left at the top, and I did think maybe I could add a paper scrap in there, but now I see how pretty the sequins look. I think I'm just going to add a few more sequins to the top. So I fuse the top of my photo compartment as well, and then I'm adding just a few sequins into the top. It's not a very big pocket, so it's not going to shake particularly well, but I just want the little bit of sort of glitz in there from the sequins as well. And again, just using my fuse tool with the cardboard underneath it just to fuse the top of the pocket. And that is my whole pocket page insert piece finished. Just need to shake those little sequins around a bit to spread them out. Now I had printed an enlargement of one of the photos that I'm going to add in behind the main photo, so you can't actually see it when it's there. And I needed to do a title, and I had a brilliant thought that I would just use my silhouette. I was thinking about grabbing out some thin metal dies. I do have some alpha dies there and spelling this all out, but to be honest I couldn't be bothered, so I just created a new canvas in silhouette. I think I used Bebus font, I'm guessing that's how you'd say it, and just spelled out my title and cut that out of my 6x8 paper, and then I've just trimmed that down to fit and can go ahead and just glue that onto that page. Now I did sort of do a tiny bit of measuring to make sure that the title that I cut out is going to be hidden behind that photo. So you'll see when I pull the pocket page over, it hides my title, and when I flip it back the other way, it hides my photo. Now I've sort of got this blank page that I'm going to put my photo on, and it needs a little something to me, so I'm going to do some repeat stamping because again this page was all about using my favorites. So I have grabbed out the caffeinated stamp set from Feed Your Craft, which is just one of my favorite stamp sets ever, and I'm going to use the coffee stamp and a little mug stamp, which I think might be for the tea, but I'm using it for coffee because all of these photos are in a coffee mug as well. And I grabbed some teal ink because, well, again, favorites. There are a few tiny teal sequins in that sequin mix, and this photo enlargement, the coffee cup, is sort of teal coloured, so hence my teal stamping. And I think it adds a nice contrast to all the warmer gold tones. Now, I did have a tiny bit of trouble stamping over those sequins, so I've just shoved them all to the side. And I'm just going to repeat stamp the whole way up the page. I'm not super bothered that the stamping isn't perfect. The photo is going to cover up most of that anyway. And because I've got no paper on the left hand side, I'm just stamping straight over and then just using my hands to wipe away the excess ink, which worked really nicely. Now all I've got left to do is stick my photo down and this page is all done. I'm so pleased I did this because I think sometimes I feel a bit of pressure to maybe try new things or try new techniques, and actually the things I enjoy the most are just going back and using the techniques and things that I know that I love and that work well for me. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of this page. I would appreciate the feedback. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to leave a couple of videos here for you. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!